Hi guys, Dr. Vince Hassel, Hassel Family Chiropractic. Happy Wednesday. I wanted to take a moment to help talk to you more about the human body and how the body works. Just a time to think, a time to really pay attention to the way the body works. So here comes some questions. The human body, is it smart or is it stupid? Honestly, is our body incredibly intelligent or is it dumb and things just happen? Our body's incredibly intelligent, it's incredibly smart. Next question I always ask, does everything happen for a reason for our body? As our body works and our body's incredibly intelligent, does everything happen for a reason? Yes or no? Absolutely everything happens for a reason. So for an example, if you sprained your ankle, if you fell off the curb and you sprained your ankle, does it swell for a reason? Is that smart or stupid by the body that it sends inflammation there and then it swells? It's incredibly smart because the body's sending the inflammation there to, number one, splint the ankle so you don't move it because it's hurt, and so the body needs to heal. There's elements within the inflammation that's being sent to the ankle to eat up the wasted tissue, and there's elements within the inflammation to lay down new fibrotic tissue, and it's an intelligent thing that the ankle swells when you hurt your ankle or you sprain your ankle. If you cut your finger, it bleeds. Is there things within the blood that are there to help heal the cut? The answer is yes. There's different things within there. And so if someone kept on irritating the cut, would the cut heal as efficiently, or would it take longer to heal if you kept on opening up the cut and rubbing the cut and not allowing the healing to happen and the scarring to happen? The body's going to heal, the body's the healer, but if you keep on irritating and you don't let it give it the time to heal, then it's going to slow the process. So when we talk about healthy and sick, are they right next to each other? Are you healthy one moment or one day and the very next day you are sick? That's what people think, but there's a big difference and a big distance between healthy and sick. Healthy is here, sick is here. There's a big spectrum or a big difference between where those two things are on that point. So my question is, where do symptoms show up? If healthy is here and sick's here, where do symptoms show up? Do they show up as soon as you leave healthy, or do they show up closer to sick? They show up closer to sick. Symptoms show up, symptoms are the last thing to show up in the process of disease. So if I woke up this morning and had a pain in my tooth, and I went to the dentist, and the dentist said, Vince, you have a cavity. If I said, well, I must have just started this morning, I never had a pain in my tooth yesterday or last week, it just started this morning. He said, that's silly, that's not how this works. Pain's the last thing to show up in the process of the disease. And the problem is most people have been taught to judge their health on how they feel. And symptoms the last thing to show up in the process of disease. The cavity just didn't show up this morning, you know that. You've got better education than that. How about heart disease? If I had a pain in my chest right now, and you guys took me across the street to emergency, and they said I'm having a heart attack. And the cardiologist came in and he said, well, you have cardiovascular disease, it's a problem, you're having a heart attack, it's an issue. And I'm like, well, it must have just started this morning. I've never had a pain in my chest before. I didn't have a pain in my chest yesterday. I didn't have a pain in my chest last week. It just started this morning. He said, Vince, that's silly. You have cardiovascular disease. This has been created, and the pain in your chest, the heart attack, is the last symptom that shows up in the process of disease. And obviously, many of those people die of their first symptom of heart disease from the heart attack. A lot of people don't make it through it. So you can't judge your health on how you feel. It's how your body's functioning. And symptoms are the last thing to show up in the process of disease. They're not the first thing to show up in the process of the disease. There's a cause and an effect to everything. So with the heart disease, did I create that cardiovascular disease? Did I create that heart attack? Or was I just unlucky and it just happened? The answer is you create that. You create that with the lifestyle that you choose to live. If I eat poor food and sugar and processed foods the whole time, is that creating heart attack? Or is that creating wellness? It's creating heart attack. If I don't exercise or do exercise, if I don't exercise, am I creating heart disease or am I creating wellness? You're creating heart disease. If I have all kinds of stress that I don't deal with through exercise or meditation or prayer or different ways for me to deal with my stress, besides drinking alcohol or doing bad things like that, if I don't deal with my stress naturally, is that creating heart disease or is that creating wellness? Cause and effect. There's a cause and effect to everything. So, some other questions about health and the way our body functions. Why do we sneeze out and we don't sneeze in? Why does the body do that? Why do you do that? Because your body's trying to get stuff out. Why do you cough out and you don't cough in? Because your body's trying to get stuff out. So does it make sense to take a cough suppressant and stop the body's function and its mechanisms of what it's using to get well? If your body's sick on the inside, that's what people, when they have symptoms, they say, oh, I'm sick. Like, I understand that you're down, you're weak, you're presenting symptoms, but your body's actually using these mechanisms to get well. That's why you cough out and not cough in. Your body's getting the stuff out. Why do you puke out and you don't puke in? Because your body's getting the stuff out. If you had food poisoning, someone says, oh, I was sick with food poisoning. I understand that. You ate bad food. It wasn't good. It shouldn't have been in there. But your body's well, and so your body's puking and you're having diarrhea because your body's trying to get the crap out as fast as possible. So do you want to slow that mechanism down? Do you want to slow down the mechanisms of your body's way of healing? Fever. Is fever good or bad? When people are ill and the body runs a fever, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is the body doing what it's supposed to do? Is the body doing something smart or stupid? Does everything happen for a reason, yes or no? Is the fever a well response or a sick response? So we've been taught to call it sick. Oh, I'm sick. I've got a fever. I'm coughing, I'm sneezing, I'm puking. It's your body's mechanisms of getting well. Bacteria and viruses can't live in high temperature environments or cold environments. That's why we cook our food or keep it in the fridge. So when your body's running that fever and it's elevating that temperature, it's cooking the bug. Plus there's other things going on with white blood cells and macrophages and lots of things within the elements of blood, and fever is part of that response. You can't suppress symptoms. You have to do health. You don't get sick. You have to work towards health, and if you're not working towards health and giving your body what it expects and requires, a properly functioning nervous system, the right nutrition, hydration, exercise, sleep, a gratitude attitude, meditation, prayer, whatever it is, then you're doing sick. You're setting yourself up for fertile ground and for germination to happen, and then you get down, but then your body's working to get well. Do you get what I'm saying? All those responses are good, but you need to work with the body, you need to assist the body, you need to support the body, and that can happen from getting adjusted, from cleaning up your nutrition, from eliminating the sugar, from drinking more water, different supplementation like vitamin D3, vitamin C, mega doses to help support your cells so they can fight the fight. Success leaves clues and failure leaves clues. Do you believe me? Success leaves clues and failure leaves clues. So if I want to be a rich person, does it make sense to study and do what a rich person does, or study and do what a poor person does? It actually makes sense to study both and don't do what the poor persons do and mimic and do what the rich persons do. If you want to have the best relationship possible, should I study and do what the people with the best relationships do or the people with the worst relationships do? I should study both, but what I should do is study and do and mimic and perform what the best relationships do. What about wellness? What about health? Should I study and do what the most well and healthy people do or the sick people? I think I should study the healthiest people, and I should mimic and do what the healthiest people do. So medications, when they give you medications for when you're ill or sick, do the medications address the cause or mask the effects? So the medication's in the sick person's body. It's supposed to make them well. First, their body's got to recover once from what they're fighting. It's got to recover a second time from the side effects to the medications. If the medications are so good, why don't they put them in a healthy person? Why don't I take them to make me more healthy? If the medications are making you healthy, if that's the deal, take the meds, they make you healthy. Then why don't I as a well person take medications to keep me more healthy or make me more healthy? Because that's not the way it works. Well, if you want to be well, why don't you, if you're sick, why don't you do what the well person does? Why don't you clean up your nutrition? Why don't you get adjusted? Why don't you increase your water? Why don't you take supplementation that helps assist and support your cells to get well? Why don't you go for a walk? Why don't you get more rest? Why don't you do things that serve your body to create health so the intelligence within can get well? Your body's the healer. I'm not the healer. Your doctor's not the healer. Your medical doctor, no one cures you. Your body cures itself. You need to give your body what it expects and requires to be well. So, number one, do health right now. Get adjusted. Eat real food. Keep the sugar out of your diet. Go get your exercise. Go get movement. Get your sleep. Deal with your stresses. Do health. And you'll stay strong, and you'll be less susceptible, less hospitable, less fertile ground to be sick. Or you can make choices to continue to do sick things, have all kinds of stress, keep eating your sugar, keep eating your processed foods, don't exercise, don't take care of your health, and be like, oh, I was unlucky, I just got sick. No, you didn't. You were doing sick. Do health. That's my talk for today. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great day. Stay well.